The Chicago Bulls have already started their meetings with draft prospects in the draft combine. Me and Pat are going to talk a little bit about that. Plus, which of the the draft prospects have helped their case or hurt their case the most so far in the draft combine? We'll talk about it all and more on today's Locked On Bulls.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily Chicago Bulls podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every single day. That's Pat, the designer, host, and creator of the Windy City Breeze, and host of the Chicago Bears podcast over at ESPN 1000. Also coming off fresh off a appearance on Fox. Shout out to my boy Pat, the designer. Had the fresh line in, the suit was fresh. I saw you, my boy. I saw you, my boy.
Hey, I was out there trying to do a little something. I had to pull up. Yeah, I mean, I was like, I came, I saw, I conquered, I came back home, and then you become Pat the father real quick. The TV stuff in.
Patrick Mortonzoni was real quick.
I had one kid have an accident, and then I had another kid that was a baby that shat on me. So I came back down to earth real fast.
Real fast. Hey, listen, hey, your family will humble you, man. I'm Haize. Bro, that's crazy. It's like the time when I was on that show with Shams. When I got off of that, my son was like, "Hey, man, where's my hot dogs at, bro?" Like, that's fine and all. I'm glad you got to do a little show with Shams. Where's the hot dogs at, my boy?
Dogs, man.
But I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls, Chicago Bears Central YouTube pages and podcasts. And thank you for making Locked On Bulls your first listen every single day, every dayers. But let's get into it. So, Pat, the Bulls are being actually operating like a front office. I don't want to say like just because they've met with some people don't really mean anything too great or too bad yet, but they've set meetings or have met with a mixture of Newell, Thomas Sorber, Colin Murray-Boyles. They have meetings set with Liam McNeely. How do you say his name?
Liam McNeely.
McNeely, yeah. Trey Johnson as well, and Jase Richardson. So when you look at what the Bulls have already doing and using the combine to actually act like a front office, who do they think they are? Ryan Poles or something out there? How you feel about that list, Pat?
I would assume they've done this before.
Yes,
I would assume this is not brand new. I feel like a lot of people took it that way as well, though, right? Like it was just like, oh, the Bulls actually setting meetings at the combine. Like they probably normally do. It's just also the fact that the combine in Chicago, I can just take you upstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so that sounded bad.
I mean, what is that? Wintrust, right? The combine's at Wintrust, not the UC, right?
It's at Wintrust, but okay. I mean, I can still just take you upstairs. Like, they have upper, like offices and stuff in there.
Oh yeah.
But I just think difference with this is, it feels like the Bulls are looking in the right direction with the pieces that they were looking to have conversations with. Excited by some of the names. I'll say this again. It comes down to evaluate it right, and I'll say this even more. The Bulls are actually looking in the right direction, and I think
they're looking at this defense.
We can put this to bed. They're not trading up. Based on all these names, they're not trading up. They're not trying to trade up. They're not trying to go higher.
Jase Richardson and Trey Johnson probably would be candidates you have to trade up for. McNeely is probably a trade down candidate, but Trey Johnson
is a trade down candidate. Is Trey Johnson a trade? Yeah,
Trey Johnson's not going any probably lower than 6. Keep in mind, he was projected
8.
as a top 5 most of the year, but he's dropped down some.
He's probably top 8. Yeah, I guess Trey Johnson probably would be a trade up situation for you. I'd say actually he probably is up on the Rockets. It's kind of where I feel like he's going to end up. But
for sure.
Yeah, he fits that team perfectly.
Yeah, and then look, then you get rid of Green too, like it makes a lot of sense. So
I think Jase will be right in that range for you though.
Yo, Jase is so interesting because some have him going before Trey Johnson, some mocks don't. But he is in that, I would say 9 to 12 range for sure that he could fall down to, unless the team looks at him. Because I'll tell you what about Jase. I watched some of his tape because I covered him on this morning's Central episode. So I was watching some of his tape last night. And I tell you what about Jase, bro. I don't know what his position is going to be, shooting guard or point guard, but you put the ball in that dude's hands, and he's a pit bull, bro.
And you know what? We talked about this yesterday, bro. Like sometimes mentality overtakes need. Sometimes mentality overtakes need. I would rather have. I'll look at last night. Look at how the Wolves are playing. You couldn't tell me that Anthony Edwards ain't 6'6" because he plays with no fear. He plays with pure, I'm coming out here to tear your heart out and take your head. And I'm gonna be honest with you, with the modern NBA that we're coming into, I don't know if you see the NBA changing the way I'm seeing it change, Haize. We're not coming into a friendship era again.
Oh no, we're coming out of that friendship era, and shout out. I'm glad that's starting to come back around because you're seeing it. Like, of course, you have players. You've had the Draymonds, you've had the Dylan Brooks, and those type of players that have been petty. But this isn't that, right? This is literally, hey, we can be cool off the court, but in those lines, I don't know you. And Anthony Edwards is one of the guys that's at the forefront of that. I love to see it.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, like, because of that, you're gonna start seeing it's the Coby effect. Listen, I do believe that there became a time where everybody became too friendly and they didn't want to, they weren't as worried about having that intensity on the court. Anthony Edwards is calling out Hall of Famers, on his way to beating them. And telling them that they're weak and that they're not ready for this and that they're not built for this moment. Only way for you to compete is for you to have somebody with that same dog in them. And if that is Jase Richardson, who it feels like he's the dog of this draft, I would love to have him on the team, even if it does mean you're moving on for somebody like Coby or whoever it ends up being that would end up having to get that spot taken away.
Yeah, we shall see. I like Jase Richardson's game a lot. Again, I hope the Bulls don't necessarily go guard, but then again,
me too.
But then again, I mean, hey, technically, when we drafted Derrick Rose, we didn't need a point guard. Technically, that was #1 overall pick, but it's different.
I mean, yeah, but I think that's the conversation I'm having.
Yeah,
right.
I know,
like,
that is.
You're not wrong. You had Kirk. Kirk's a fine point guard. Right? You had Ben Gordon. You had a nice little rotation. It would have made sense. And that was the argument. You don't need a point guard. You need a wing.
Michael Beasley, you plug him into what you already have going on and you keep it pushing, or you start changing the makeup of your team and draft Derrick Rose. That was the question around it.
And I think the Bulls made the right decision.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but no, man, I'm excited about some of the combine meetings that the Bulls have set. And listen, you know, I've been on Thomas Sorber for a minute.
You were on Thomas Sorber before I was. I was more Ace and Newell, but like seeing, and the funny thing is that Thomas Sorber is impressing without even being a full participant in the draft combine.
Yeah,
that says a lot. When all of his measurables and things came back similar to Jared Allen, that also made me realize, like, hey, maybe he can play center. Because you know what, and this is where it goes to. You got to watch how a player plays. You can't always just look at the measurables. I did not realize that Jared Allen was only 6'9" until somebody pointed it out yesterday and was like, you know, he's basically the same exact size as Jared Allen. I was like, there's no way. I thought Jared Allen was like 7'1".
Nope.
So
and that's what I mean, bro. It really is just it's a mindset. It's a want to with a lot of these guys. Now, Jared Allen, the reason you feel like he's 7'1" is because if I'm not mistaken, don't he have like a 7'9" wingspan?
7'5" wingspan, which is the same as Thomas Sorber.
Oh, I thought you was about to say Patrick Williams.
Listen, you don't comp anybody to Patrick Williams that you're talking about positively, my boy. Like, what are we doing here?
Well, I was gonna say, listen, now, Haize, now you telling me he's a Captain Carney?
I'm telling you, yes.
We still giving him Captain Carney? Yeah, it might mean Carnival now. Are you telling me he's a Captain Carney candidate here? Because
I don't know about that. Forget that Captain Carney stuff. I'm telling you that he's a candidate. You need dogs. You need a defensive monster. You need a big. He's that.
Hey, bro, Captain Carney lasted about as long as Captain Planet. It only was like,
it was lasted about as long as, remember when we thought that AK was so well prepared that he had a plan for everything? Remember that?
We thought he had plans.
Yeah, we thought he had plans.
Oh, God. We were all just the Planeteers. It was sad.
It is what it is. But I do like the path that the Bulls are on. I like that a lot of these guys are guys that all are defensive minded. That is like, and here, the thing is, they all have, defense is all their best strengths, but they all really have solid upsides offensively as well. So it's not like they're like, forget the offense. No, I mean, they're solid two-way candidates here. and we'll see what the Bulls end up coming up with, man. But we're going to continue the conversation. We're also going to talk about who has impressed us so much, maybe even changed our opinion on them when we came into this process within the draft combine. We're going to get into all that right after this.
Ooh. I actually was hitting it.
Oh, man, the days are getting longer, the weather's warming up, and people are spending more time outside, which means it's the perfect time to refresh your outdoor space. Whether you're working with a big backyard or a small balcony, Wayfair has everything you need to make it feel more like you. Wayfair's massive selection of outdoor essentials makes it easy to transform any space into your ideal summer setup. From comfy conversation sets to sleek dining tables and outdoor decor, they've got it all at the prices that fit your budget. Grab a new patio dining set and some string lights from Wayfair to help extend your outdoor space. I love the mix of styles they offer. Wayfair makes it super easy to find pieces that match your vibe without spending a fortune. Delivery is free and hassle-free, even for the big stuff. Whether you're entertaining guests or just relaxing solo, shop Wayfair to help you unwind. Shop a huge selection of outdoor furniture online. This summer, get outside with Wayfair. Head to wayfair.com right now. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. More Locked On Bulls coming up next. All right, look at that. It was seamless there.
You didn't trust me. You didn't trust me on that one. I had it.
My bad. That's on me.
I will say I hit this one. I hit the green giant. So that part was on me. But you didn't trust me. I had you. I had your back, man.
My bad, Brody. With that said, man, who from what we've seen in the combine so far, you actually got to look a little bit of the combine in person. Who has kind of impressed you the most so far?
Haize. Now, this young man has to decide whether he wants to go into the draft or not. And he is in the draft, but he is technically committed to Duke. And so he could go back to Duke. I need you to look into Cedric Howard.
Bro, I've done it. I did a deep dive into his game. I watched this tape.
Oh my God!
I know he's not a big. He's going to be a wing.
Not a big 7'2" wingspan though. Fits the Captain Carney profile. 7'2" wingspan. The defense that young man has on display, phenomenal.
And legit 3-point shooter. Like, bro, I saw this dude come off a screen and literally he had about 1.2 seconds to decide whether he was going to shoot it or dribble it before the screen closed out on him. And not only did he make the decision to shoot it, he got it off before the screener even could make a decision on what his decision-making on his shot profile is so advanced from what you would expect to him. He's still young. He's one of those guys that, like we kind of talked about before, I get it. You wanted to look at power forward or centers in this draft, but he's a guy that I don't care about the position. I need dogs like that. And to have a 3-4 combo with him and Modest, sign me up.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, Haize. Like, I think he measured in at 6'6" at the combine. Again, we talk about, I'm sorry, 6'5.25. Apologies.
Shoes, he's 6'6".
6'6". 213 standing reach, 8'10", good hand size, 9.2 on the hand size, and we won't go into. I was about to make a Jerry Jones joke. Don't worry about that. But just this young man, now he didn't do the 5-on-5 scrimmage, at least that I saw, because of the injury that he's dealing with. Had a shoulder injury earlier on in the season, which is why he wanted to go to Duke, get the stock up and stuff like that. But if he came into the league right now, phenomenal defensive versatility. The shooting efficiency, to me, like you mentioned, I think with him is something that it needs to be studied. The consistency that he was able to shoot with at the combine, coming off an injury, dog.
Yeah.
Just going through drills, just coming off an injury, going through drills. And I think to me, the part that stood out for me the most was how efficient the shots he was taking were. And that's something that does not happen in today's NBA, where everybody wants to be Stephen Curry. Everybody wants to be behind the line. He's just, when you look at his tape throughout college, he's taking efficient threes. I saw him in the drills, and dog, I was like, okay, I have never watched this young man. And then I was like, it says he's at Duke. How have I not seen this young man? Then you look, and I forget what was the school he went to before.
Washington State.
Washington State. And I was like, I don't remember ever seeing this kid, but he's balling out. And I think he's somebody, bro, to me. And no, Eastern Washington was before that. Then he went to Washington State. Eastern Washington was before that. And if the Bulls took him, I would feel like we won the draft. Now, he's got to enter the draft. He's got to make that commitment to go into the draft. He hasn't done that yet. But if the Bulls got this young man, I would be sitting here telling y'all, Patrick Williams is obviously gone. That's the easy one. Because I think he has that 3-and-D ability with the wingspan. But you could be talking about Coby White and/or Ayo Dosunmu being out the door as well.
I tell you what about Cowherd, the thing that stands out to me as well is the efficiency. Like you said, he had a 70% true shooting percentage, 70% true shooting percentage, and he shot the ball 40% from three, taking almost 6 3-pointers per game. This isn't somebody you're talking about that like has the low volume. Like this is the high volume player. Like, and
no Cody Williams.
Exactly. And you're talking about whether he's guard or small forward, 7 rebounds per game with a 13% rebound percentage, considering he played shooting guard at Washington. He didn't play small forward. He's away from. I know he's almost 22 years old. I do think he's probably going to stay in the draft because of that, and because of the fact that he was initially mocked to go to the second round.
Yeah,
Pat. People have him now being a 15th overall. He's on the precipice of being a lottery pick. He's probably going to enter this draft. And if he does, and that's who the Bulls pick, it would feel very much so like, hey, we got another one that shouldn't be here, but that is here because of things. And he could end up. Colin Cowherd has the chance to be the
Colin Cowherd.
That's what I'm missing. I'm missing 2 names. Cedric Cowherd has the chance to be, I think, one of the best players in this draft overall.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And listen, I would love to see Colin Cowherd out here,
bro. That would be crazy. If Colin Cowherd was out here.
It's the Rich Eisen 40.
Could you imagine if Colin Cowherd was like, yeah, I just want to get in a couple of reps at the draft combine?
Bro, it's the Rich Eisen 40.
Bro, that's crazy.
I can rub a sub 640.
He ran a 7.8 40. What? How?
The big thing about him too, like impressed at the combine, love what you saw from the young man. But I think the fact that you hit the nail on the head. If you don't go center, you've got question marks at center. You can't have question marks at rebounding.
Yeah.
You can have a question mark at center. You can be like, we got a nice player down there, right? If you go out there with Zach Collins next season, or you go out there with Sticks at the center next season, right? You'll be fine. It's not an answer, but you're fine. But you can't have questions on, are you a good rebounding team? And so I think even adding this in with Josh Giddey, not to be weird, but your guards will probably be the best rebounders on your basketball team.
Yeah, best rebounding backcourt rotation probably in the league, to be honest with you. And then even, bro, Colin, I keep saying Colin, Cedric coming off screens with Josh Giddey passes.
Yeah, bro.
Come on, man.
Yeah, bro. I think he's somebody that he's one of those players, and I love this longer time in college, 22 years old. To me, when you look at players like that, they know who they are already. They don't come to the NBA shot. Walker Kessler didn't come to the league surprised. He was like, all right, bet. I don't shoot, so I'm going to just run down here. I'm going to dunk this basketball, then I'm going to run back on the other end. I'm going to block a shot, and I'm going to grab a rebound. That cool? I bet. Then we're going to do that. We're going to keep doing that. He keeps doing that. These young players, they don't know who they are yet. And, yes, some of them are immensely talented. They're the right. You want the guys that had to reclassify like Cooper Flagg did. But if you've got to pick later on in the draft, and I think the Bulls did this so well under John Paxson, not as much under Gar Forman, picking dudes that have been in college longer, because Taj Gibson was a 4-year college player. Taj Gibson walked on the court day one and was like, yeah, throw me the ball in the post. I got this move for you.
Yeah, he was also almost 30. No, I'm just playing. But yeah.
He's still the same age right now that he was then.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, when you walk into the league and you and Carlos Boozer have the same hairline regimen, it's a little bit of a concern there. But
bro, THT and Carlos Boozer got the same hairline, and THT is 24.
Bro, it's crazy, bro. It's wild.
Strong hairline for Cedric Cowherd, by the way. I mean, low. I mean, that mug is like right here.
Did you look at him and realize he kind of looks like Bobby? Once you see it, you can't unsee it, bro.
This is the worst part. Strong hairline for Bobby. I didn't realize how low Bobby's hairline is.
Oh, bro, Bobby got a lot of room to work with on that hairline. When it starts receding, he's still gonna have extra hairline.
Hey, yeah,
it's good.
Mine going back. It's all right.
Listen, hey, it is what it is. Mine isn't going back, but it's start getting thin a little bit in the middle. So it is what it is. That was probably this past year was probably my last winter being able to rock longer hair. I'm just going. It is what it is.
Are you letting it? You're just keeping it cut, right?
I'm just keeping the waves at this point, bro. Like the long curly joint. Yeah, that's done for me.
Hey,
me and my barber had a conversation. He was like, "All right, now, I can keep."
You gotta have a barber that can be real with you.
Exactly. He's like, I can keep making it. We got probably another year or two where I can keep making it look like you're not thinning a little bit there, but we got to start thinking about what's coming next. And I was like, I don't want to use enhancements. She was like, all right, so what we doing?
Hey, bro,
like,
if I ever see you with this John right here, if I ever see you with this John,
I refuse to use enhancements, bro.
Hey, bro, I see my barber pull out the card. He's like, I'm gonna hit that right side just a little bit. I was like, put it back, man. I'm gonna just live with what I got, brother. That's the truth, man.
You gotta live in your truth, bro. More people need to live in their truth, bro.
If it go any further back, I see you in Turkey. we'll book joint appointments, dog.
That's hilarious. But with that said, man, we do want to remind you guys that Locked On Bulls is free and available in every podcasting app and platform of your choice. We're going to continue the conversation, man, right after this. Still a little bit awkward for me, but we're gonna rock with it. Real quick, I want to get into a player that's really surprised me some and does not seem to be on the Bulls board at all. Rasheer Fleming has really impressed me throughout this. He's a guy that has all the measurables that you look at. He's another guy that compares to Jared Allen as far as one of those undersized bigs that's kind of more defensive focused and minded, and that's all great. But this is a guy that, coming into this process, I didn't have him as high on my personal list, and I don't understand why he's dropping down mocks, because when I've seen this kid play, what I've seen from his measurables, this looks like a guy that's an absolute dog. But I've been really impressed with him, but it doesn't seem like as of right now. I don't know if you saw it or not, Casey Johnson was asked about things and about how the Bulls look at certain players, and he seemed very non-committal in regards to Rasheer Fleming, but I do like Rasheer Fleming's game a lot.
I like Fleming. I think he's more of a spot-up shooter than he is catch and shoot kind of player. I think the offensive upside there is solid for him, especially with him shooting 44% from the three-point line. I think defensively, Rasheer Fleming is somebody that you definitely should be keeping an eye on. I'm not surprised that he's falling down mocks. I think the size is good there, right? Like 6'9". I think great weight on him. But the more I watch him, doesn't he remind you a little bit of the things that we loved about EJ Liddell?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. That's a great point.
And now EJ Liddell went through a massive injury year one, right? That probably changed his game a ton. We had him here in Chicago and got a chance to watch him up close, and you kind of just went, oh, okay. I mean, I see why he's falling later down the boards, because when I watch him, I literally go, it's what I loved about EJ Liddell. EJ Liddell is just older. Or That's was fair. Older at that point. Was EJ Liddell 22?
I don't even
coming
remember.
Out of the draft, whatever it was.
He was an older prospect, I believe, though. Yeah, Rasheer Fleming's one that's set up. But let's flip this. Who's somebody that stock has went down for? I'll start this one, and I've said this. I've been vocal about this on social media, so nobody should be surprised with this. Colin Murray Boyles. I get it. Like, really good defensive upside, make no mistake about it. But like, the dude has a modern day kind of center game in a shooting guard body who can't really dribble. And that when you look at his usage rate, he's THT. Like, I know people hate to say that, but like, he had almost, Pat, a 30% usage rate to get 17 points. That's not an effective score. He's not going to have that type of usage rate at the NBA level because he doesn't have the ability to create his own shot. He's not great off dribbling. The defensive upside is really, really good. Make no mistake about it. But like everything else, I saw this kid with wide open shots, miss them one after another. I'm good on Colin Murray Boyles as it stands right now. How you feel, Pat?
Yeah, listen, I think the thing with CMB to me is it is remember the times when THT is just given a ball and told to go hoop, he can go hoop. Yeah. He's sometimes he's Charles Barkley, sometimes he's a wannabe that looks like Charles Barkley. For me with Kyler Murray Boyles, I don't think that he fits the Bulls. Like that's actually what it just. I get that they interviewed him, and I think you interviewed him because he's somebody that will be there for sure when you're picking at 12. So you got to know who this young man is and do your due diligence on that. But he doesn't fit the Bulls. He doesn't fit what this Bulls team is. He needs to go to a team that is literally go to Charlotte. LaMelo Ball gonna pass you the ball, you gonna shoot it. That's it. That's kind of the only. He needs to be on a team where it can be unquestioned. You get as many opportunities as you want to have here. And that's not going to be with the Chicago Bulls. So for me, Kyler Murray Boyles, I was out on him the second I saw him mock to the Bulls. And of course, that means that's the player that we're going to end up with in the draft, though. But I was
while Sorber, Fleming, and God knows who else is going to be on the board, they're going to look at it and be like,
I'll be honest with you. I would much rather overdraft Danny Wolf than take Colin Boyd.
I agree with you on that one. 100% agree with you on that one.
We're going to draft this kid. I know it. Somebody whose stock was down for me, and listen, this, I had such high hopes for him. But I'll tell you what, he's one of the players that actually did participate in the scrimmage when I got to watch it. And I just kept going, where's Asa? Where's Asa? And I think that Asa Newell's stock is going to fall as this goes. I think Asa Newell may be a late round pick by the end of this, although people may want to continue to bet on the upside. You know what I saw with Asa Newell? And I know me and Haize were talking about this before we started the stream. And he was like, he's giving me Patrick Williams vibes. I was like, bro, he gives me Tyrus Thomas vibes. He's explosive as all get out. He's explosive as all get out. He can make the dunks look good. He's got great hands. I think he's versatile as a defender. I think he's got all of the upside in the world. But if at a NBA draft combine scrimmage, you can't muster up the energy to go out there and say, let me put on my best showing. Fam, I was more excited by a dude that may not be in the draft over a dude that should be a lottery pick.
Yeah, and Asa's been dropping consistently, basically since about midway through that collegiate season. Even though, he rose back up a little bit because he played really well towards the end of the season. And like you said, he still has tremendous upside. Make no mistake about it. But
he's got all the gifts in the world.
Yeah. But when you're in a 5-on-5, especially for what the Bulls need as far as trying to build identity, we want dogs, right? So if you kind of disappear on a 5-on-5 when it's your chance amongst your peers to really stand out, it is concerning. I mean, I didn't see it. You were there, but it's definitely concerning.
Yeah, I mean, listen, inconsistent three-point shooter, I think, is the easiest thing to really look at him. But I can live with you not being a consistent three-point shooter. To me, though, his offensive game has zero polish to it. He doesn't have I'm about to do a coup.
Oh, you about to do? Uh-oh.
Here's his shooting profile. He's a 3-and-D player who has an inconsistent three-pointer. Doesn't shoot the mid-range game, and his finishing game around the rim outside of dunking the basketball is still raw. That last one might be a pause. His finishing game around the rim outside of dunking is
the dunking is what saves
the
that.
dunking
The
saved
dunking
it.
saves
Okay.
that. If it wasn't for the dunking, it would be mad pause comment. The dunking saves that. Yeah, I mean, listen, I still like Asa Newell, but I do think at this point it does seem like you're going to have better options for it. Now, let me ask you this. Let's say the guys that we like are off the board. You still want to go big. It comes down to Danny Wolf, Asa Newell. Who are you taking?
Danny Wolf.
Danny Wolf?
Easily.
Okay.
Danny Wolf. Danny Wolf has – I think Danny Wolf impressed at the combine as well. He didn't take part in the 5-on-5 either. But I think that he impressed at the combine as well. He's got the three-point shot that you're looking for. To me – defensive ability, he moves his feet better than he should. Okay. He just does. When you see him as a 7-footer, moves his feet way better than he should. Still an extremely good rebounder, answers that rebounding question for you, answers that shot blocking question for you, and can knock down the three and handle the basketball with the best of them. He's a modern day big. I'm gonna be honest with you. By the end of this, Danny Wolf may be our draft pick because I think that Danny Wolf is going to fly up mock draft boards.
High floor, very high floor for Danny Wolf. Really refined offensive game. He can pass, he can shoot the three, he can shoot in mid-range. Really good pick and roll player as well. Like offensively, I have no questions about Danny Wolf. Defensively is the biggest thing. And I think that, we're looking modern. Ideally, you want a switchable big. You want a big that can switch onto some guards for a couple of segments as your defense recalibrates, all that type of thing. But I think also, we just need a big who can't only play in drop coverage, which is what Vooch does. And because you saw Zach Collins in that stretch, it wasn't like Zach Collins was locking people down, but what he did do is that he was able to get out and close out on players. He wasn't just playing in drop coverage, and that was some of the best defensive analytics that the Bulls had. Danny Wolf can come in and potentially do a lot of that. So,
and listen, a lot of us just want to, and that's the one thing I don't question about Danny Wolf. Danny Wolf wants to. Danny Wolf wants to be a good defender. He wants to stop people at the rim. And with Billy Donovan's system that we saw last season defensively, I think that's going to mask some mistakes. I also think that just being 7'1", you're going to block shots. You
7'1", 7'5" wingspan, if I'm not mistaken.
7'5" wingspan on Danny Wolf, yeah. It's now they measured him
7'2" wingspan.
7'2" wingspan. Yeah, hold on. I got it here. I was trying to find it. Now, so they measured him at the combine as 6'10" and a half without shoes. The good thing is I've never seen anybody play basketball on an NBA court without shoes.
I don't know. Amen Thompson in the game 6 didn't have his shoe for a lot. So
that's tough. That's hilarious. They still on that court. So I would say legit 7', 7'2" wingspan, standing reach 9'1".
Yeah, okay, yeah, he's gonna block some shots.
250 pounds. The question on him that people have is the ability to switch onto power forwards. And for me, I would say do your best not to switch Danny Wolf onto power forwards and tell him to protect the rim.
Yeah, I mean, I think too, Danny Wolf allows you, if you get him as your center, and if you're comfortable with moving Modest to the 3, if that happens, Modest may just Modest has athleticism out the wazoo and he's active defensively. Depending on how Modest goes as a switchable defender too, you could be fine there. Or if you move Modest to the 3, you can find a power forward that just defense. That's easier to find than what it'll be easier to find a defensive power forward, whether it be in free agency or in future drafts, than it will be to find a big with the offensive versatility of a Danny Wolf. That's the way that I look at it. So.
I'm gonna be honest with you, and y'all know I've been excited. Thomas Sorber, I liked early on. Danny Wolf is probably the first person that I was talking about halfway through the college season. And we got to get out of here. Danny Wolf gave me a little shades of Alperine Şengün, dare I say?
Okay,
just shades, shades. Not Alperine Şengün all the way, but shades. And I can work with shades when I can develop certain things.
Can he beat Brad Miller? Is the question.
He might be Brad Miller right now, actually.
Okay.
That's probably the best kind of comparison for him. I was going with somebody in the modern NBA. He's probably Brad Miller. You know what? I don't know how people are going to view this name. Is a Kelly Olynyk a wild comp? I feel like people view Kelly Olynyk negatively, and Kelly Olynyk was a hooper.
Yeah. It's just, he was just rough. Kelly Olynyk was one of those players that would be like 60 games out the season, he's on. But those 20 games of the season, he's off. It was like.
So a modern NBA player.
Accurate.
So a modern NBA player.
Accurate.
Hey, man, we appreciate y'all for tuning in to show and love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls. You can follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago.
Absolutely. Locked On Bulls is free and available on every podcasting app and platform of your choice, as well as YouTube, the Odyssey app, Amazon Fire TV, Roku TV, Fubo TV, and more. So make sure you guys catch us wherever you need to catch us at. We'll see you guys again bright and early tomorrow to close out the week. See if we get any more draft combine news. Love you guys. Go Bulls. Peace, y'all.
Peace. Jeremiah said, that's the coward part of the video. Are we deciding we're cool with Modest playing the 4 going forward? You draft coward. Coby White probably is not a 2-guard on this team.
We'll see. Can make sense, though.